Okay, so we're going to continue on this recordings of the distilled water and what comes out of it. I will grab the total dissolved solid meter so you guys can see the numbers that will show up in the reading. So for now, we got the distilled water ready to be presented, and then I'll show you what comes out of this in the next recording. Okay, so this is the total dissolved solid meter. We're gonna test the parts per million in the distilled water, with the distillation system. Okay, so this is some of the leftover of the distilled water that I just poured into the walnuts. All right, we're gonna look at these readings. So actually, have to turn it on first. So you see the number is reading 20 parts per million. 10 to 12, it's ranging. Okay, we're gonna do the sink water. This is the standard city water. We're gonna test that and show you what that reading is. So right now it's calibrated to 0. Then you see the number there. That's 420 parts per million. We're gonna check the filtered water. Okay, that's about 30 parts per million. Basically, the particles that you can't see with your eyes is what the parts per million reading is all about. So we got the filtered water at that 25 parts, and the unfiltered water, which is the city of San Diego tap water, is over 450. And then the distilled water we tested was at 10 to 11 parts per million. So just want to get you guys to see the broader picture here. We'll wait for another 5 to 6 hours to come and check what the reading of this will be after the soaking period. But we can do a little test now to see what the numbers has increased, because this was what was used was the distilled water, which we saw was at 10 to 12 parts per million. So now this is just a glass of the water with walnuts in it. And we are reading 81 parts per million. So in the next 5 to 6 hours, we'll drain this, and then we'll test to see how much residue or parts per million came out of the walnuts. And then you can imagine what's going inside and filling up the body when you eat things not soaked, and when we're eating things that are not sprouted, and we're just drinking sodas and other beverages that we don't know what's inside of it, things that the eyes cannot see. We're living in technology where you can buy something like this and be able to test and know exactly the range of what's being put inside of your body. It's about 7 hours now since I soaked the walnuts, and I've already strained the walnuts, and I'll put it in this Ziploc bag. So remember that the water, we tested the total dissolve on that water, that we used the distilled water to soak. And here is the water here that I poured out. So I just wanted to show you guys exactly the number before the rising sun. So right now it's at 768 parts per million. So whatever it's inside of walnuts that you soak and that you're supposed to soak, or in nuts in general, is now out of your system. So when you eat the walnuts, this is the soaked sprouted walnuts, you'll be consuming this void of all of this, whatever this is. So I bet if we get the pH strip and you test it, it will read acidic. So, and then now if you soak this again, it will be alkaline.